Morning, everyone. Can I see your papers, please? No, this isn't the communist Eastern Bloc and I am not the Stasi. I'm just doing an impression of nightclub owners across the country because it looks as though we're about to enter Papers, Please Britain. Vaccine passports appear to have arrived and large venues and gatherings may be forced to adopt them. People say, well, you already have to show your ID to get into a nightclub. Yes, fine, but in order to get my ID, I don't have to inject something into my body twice, potentially 3 times a charm, every single year, probably for the rest of my life. Is this coercion? I believe the answer to that question may indeed be yes. Why? Well, let's ask ourselves the question. Do you think most young people are getting the vaccine because they actually want it or because they want to have freedom in their social lives? I personally suspect that the answer is the latter, and if that is, then that's coercion as far as I'm concerned. If you think it's not so bad, fine, absolutely fine, but we're at the top of a very slippery slope. Australia has already announced that they're planning to lock out people who don't want to get the vaccine from healthcare. Now, that, to me, seems a little bit rum. They might, essentially, let you die if you don't get the jab. So politicians have it in them to do this kind of stuff, don't they? There are strong rumours that this may not actually go through, that they're just saying it to ensure maximum uptake of the jab. Well, again, I think that might be coercion. Overt coercion. If they don't go through with it, and it turns out that they're only saying it to scare people into getting the jab, then if you look up the word coercion in the dictionary, there's every chance you might see a big picture of Nadeem Zahawi there looming over you. Of course, there's another side to this, and I don't want for a single second to be saying that I think the jab is dangerous. I'm just saying I don't particularly like the idea of being forced into taking one. And, while we're here, let's have a chat about our vaccines minister, shall we? Old Nadeem. Well, I think mandating vaccinations is discriminatory and completely wrong. Not my words, they're the words of Mr Zahawi. We have no plans to introduce vaccine passports. No one has been given or will be required to have a vaccine passport. Zahawi again. The baddest baroness in the business, Claire Fox, asked him if we could hold him to this. And he said, yes, but trying to hold a government minister to anything these days is like trying to catch water. It simply can't be done. So either ministers are lying to us about introducing vaccine passports to ensure maximum uptake of the vaccine, or they were just lying to us to begin with about not introducing them. Either way, it's not a great look, is it? And then there's the line that they're wheeling out, which is, we're introducing them so venues won't have to keep opening and shutting on short notice. Well, no, because they'll probably just shut forever. Apparently the markup for nightclubs is roughly about 15%. Well, depending on what source you look at, between about 25 to 30% of 18 to 29-year-olds haven't had the jab yet. So if they're not allowed to go to nightclubs, then it could put them out of business. And then there's the practical madness of this. Getting the jab, whilst it completely stops you, essentially, maybe getting seriously ill from it, although that's disputed, but it can stop you getting seriously ill and it can reduce your ability to pass the virus on. I want to make that very clear. It doesn't actually stop you contracting COVID or passing it on, definitely. So whether or not I show my vaccine passport at the door of Fabric nightclub is for the birds. Why not, I don't know, require proof of a negative test instead? No, that's too much like common sense, isn't it? And it's not just nightclubs, by the way. Theatre owners are worried that this could be the final nail in their coffin. I think we're creating a two-tier society, the haves and the have-nots when it comes to the vaccine. This government seems perfectly happy to ignore the views of industry experts, their fears for their future, and press ahead with vaccine passports. This government seems perfectly happy to ignore the advice of the experts at the JCVI, which says that it would essentially be unethical to vaccinate 12 to 15-year-olds. When Michael Gove said that he'd had enough of experts, I didn't realise this was what he meant. If we are about to enter a Papers, Please society, I'd like to hand a few government ministers a paper of their own. The only difference is this one's got P45 written on it.